He can take that out in post. It's fine.
All right.
I'll just give him extra work for while he's on the plane.
That's a good intro, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you're inclined to lean back, don't. Or just if you are going to lean back, like, just start talking, Rebecca.
Okay.
He's just testing levels.
Okay. Hi,
just
Rob.
talk.
Tell us about Hamilton, your favorite part.
See how loud I'm talking? We should be talking like as
Just
loud
like
as
a normal person.
Am I talking too loud?
No, you're not
Okay.
talking too loud.
You can
sound
talk
good.
a little louder.
Okay, I should talk a little louder. La, la, la.
Scott?
Oh, Scott's a quiet talker.
You move the mic closer.
Yeah, that one you need to.
Andrew's bags.
Andrew with his keeping things neat and tidy. Oh, so annoying.
How's the levels now, Rob?
Oh, I don't know. Hang on.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Huh? How's the levels? Test. 1, 2,
that's the
3.
wrong one.
Mic check.
Mic check.
That's good. We all get our own track.
You guys have so much experience hearing people make mic checks. Yeah,
Mic
what are
check.
the favorites?
Our rep for
for
Pure
a Pure
Project,
Project.
his name is Mike Check.
And he's also a DJ, right?
He is.
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Ploughman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
And he's also a DJ, right?
He is.
And how do you, And how do you have a rep from Pure Project?
We do.
Does
He
just
sends
live
me an
here?
email. No, he lives in Miramar and sends me an email a couple times a month, and then they ship to Manuel, and then it comes to me.
And then he comes out like
He
twice
comes
a year?
out.
Cool.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, for events, maybe once a year, twice a year.
Nice.
Yeah. Then he found out we went to the brewery or we were at the brewery. And then when we checked out, I mean, we never want free stuff at breweries.
My favorite thing to
We
do
don't
is
like
send
to-
people a photo when we're at their brewery as we're leaving. So we don't nothing happens weird.
But we were leaving and they were like, oh, Mike says to just
Mike
get
called.
4-packs to go. And we're like, okay.
That if
Yeah.
you're adding to the experience, I'm in. But just
Yeah.
let me pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. But the 4-pack to go is nice because then I'm like, oh, I'll enjoy this later.
Yes.
Like, I can still
Yeah.
tip bartenders. I can still
I'm
not
also
feel bad.
terrible about. We didn't take any photos at Tap and Bottle really.
Yeah.
And we didn't take any here when I had lunch with. Well, I ate and drank, and Jamie from Barrio had water because she had already ate and drank with Ken Wilson. from
She's like,
Lumberyard.
I'm already
Yeah,
done. Yeah.
I forget to take the pictures, and then we took a few at Crooked Tooth. So I'm like, I woke up in the middle and I'm like, I'll post it now at 3 a.m, and that way I can just go like, wow, I was late.
Yes.
We just got there.
Yeah.
I just never know.
I didn't make the rounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, either got to take all the photos or just I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
I
For
just
you.
took a photo outside because there was an old Tap and Bottle sticker in front of Barrio.
What does that look like?
The same as the other ones, just a different color.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
same old,
I
same
didn't
old.
recognize it. It
It
must
was-
be very old.
Yeah. So I'll
All
have
right.
to update.
Have you released your plaid version yet? It's super fast from what I hear.
We'll totally do it.
But it costs twice as much.
Yes. It's only a software update, but it's plaid.
So
This
as
is
long as
all-
we're just shooting the shit here, you guys came in with coffee and burritos. Was it just a burrito of convenience, or was it a burrito of note?
It was a burrito from Sace, which we love.
Okay.
Over in the Mercado.
So of note, not of
Yeah,
convenience.
Of
Well,
note
I
and
didn't go.
convenience. He didn't go.
I went
so
for an early run at like 6:30 with a friend at campus, and I had to go back home and shower and change.
So I said I'd bring him half.
Oh,
burrito.
okay.
So mine was of note. His was of
A
convenience.
leftover. I was like starving because I went for a 5-mile run at 6:30, and now it's 10, and I haven't eaten yet.
We had cold pizza from last night from the place across the alley from.
Anello.
Say it again.
Anello.
Anello.
Yeah.
No goods and services are being exchanged for mentions.
Although
of
if they want
pizza.
to, call me.
Yeah, we had the leftover from last night. So
How was it?
that was good.
I mean, it's always good there.
We
Sometimes
do
I feel the
Canelo.
leftover, like that Neapolitan style, doesn't always hold up after it
Yeah,
cools
well,
off.
They were super busy, so I have a feeling they were a little rushed.
Yeah, and when I went over at the appropriate time, they said, "Oh, we'll put yours in front now because we didn't know that you were across the alley." But if I'm gonna, I've had it before.
Yeah.
When it is busy, you don't get the really firm crust.
Yeah.
If I order it in person, I usually ask them to char it a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I didn't because we were just trying
On
to
the phone.
Yeah, we're trying to get
Yeah.
things done, and so I suspect it would. It was actually nice because it dehydrates a little bit overnight when it's cold, and if we would have put it in a dry pan, we would have been
Yes.
singing. But
We didn't.
Yep,
I
that's
taught
good.
Rebecca how to reheat the pizza. Sometimes I flip it and cook it the cheese side down.
Yeah, I've
and then
done
flip
that.
it
I've done that.
back. Yeah.
The air fryer though. If you don't have an air
we
fryer, that is the magic pizza
I don't.
formula.
I don't have one.
Oh my
I
god,
don't.
it's amazing.
That should be our question.
It's so
Do you
great.
have an air fryer?
Oh, we're doing a survey this week. That's
Yeah.
a
Do you have
first,
an
but
air
sure.
fryer? Do you have an Instapot, or do you have both?
We're
Just an air
Instapot.
fryer.
We're Instapot.
I'm Instapot, but I also have a dedicated rice cooker too. Even though I know you can do rice in the.
We have the rice
Nice.
cookers. Well, I have an old T-file one that's great, and
Yeah.
it's got the 2 levels, so you could do veggies and rice. Too. Yeah.
I got the one that plays like music, Twinkle
Wi-
Twinkle Little Star for some reason when it's done. I don't know why.
Wi-Fi connected.
No, but you can literally leave it in there for a week.
Oh,
But I bought this. That makes sense if you buy this giant one, right? And
Yeah.
but I guess it's just me and Brenda, so it's not a big deal. But like it goes in like a day and a half. I'm like, it's supposed to last longer. But once you have it out there on the counter, it's like,
Yes.
yeah. Yum.
Anyway,
Yeah, we don't have the counter space for that, so we just have the pot to make rice in, which is pretty frequent.
The thing I like about the Instapot, because if you ever try to do brown rice, it takes forever in like a rice cooker. Like
Yeah.
it never finishes. The Instapot will finish the
Yeah.
brown rice.
mine has this like fuzzy logic thing. So if you put too much rice per water, it'll fix it. It'll fix it. It'll just it'll fix it. Yeah.
Damn.
So no goods are
That was great.
services were exchanged.
Nice kitchen talk, everybody.
I didn't mention the brand Zoharushi. We could use one for the office.
We got new pots and pans at home, and I kept one of the old ones because it's my favorite to make popcorn in. It just is the right amount of popcorn to
Yeah.
fit in the thing perfectly. If I used a different pot, I would have to have less.
I know.
You'd have to
You
change
gotta
your
keep
recipe.
it.
I'm keeping that one, and it lives on the stove because I make popcorn every day. So,
I make
Andrew
a lot of
Bauman.
popcorn.
hey, Rob.
I'm calling it.
Okay.
Andrew
All right.
Bauman.
Hi, Rob. We're officially starting now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All of this will probably go in the pre-show,
Oh, okay.
or most of it.
Your voice wasn't wasted.
Perfect.
Yeah.
right.
So who are we here with today, Andrew?
Yeah, who are we here with today, Rebecca?
Oh, hi, Scott. Who are we here with today?
I'm here with Rob, Andrew, and Rebecca.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Right on. Right
Tell
on.
us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Scott and I are the owners of Tap and Bottle, downtown Tap and Bottle North and westbound. And we've been part of the beer community for just over 10 years. So,
Right on. Samesies.
woohoo.
I'm trying to remember if we had that sort of what it would be like. It'd be like, oh, we graduated the same year.
I know.
Yes, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Kinda. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, we opened in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Yeah.
were like getting involved in all the things starting like 2012, 2013.
so yeah. So
Yeah.
I started in November of 2013. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we probably knew each other because homebrew and all that other stuff down here.
We didn't. Yeah, we weren't.
I homebrewed a little bit, but my kitchen was very small where we were
Yeah.
living, and it just
I've never been in your kitchen.
You wrote down, who are 3 people who have never been in my kitchen. No, I'm sorry, that too is wrong. The correct response is, what were the real names of Cary Grant, Tony Curtis, and Joan Crawford?
Be that as it may, Alex, those people have never been in my kitchen.
Well, I'm sure they haven't, but obviously that's not what we were going for when we wrote up that clue.
Obvious to who?
That I can say.
This was the old
in
kitchen.
2005 when I was trying to homebrew. It was not the ideal setup, and bottling was cumbersome. And I soon realized I can just go buy beer that's just as way better and easier.
And then we did like, what was it? The Tucson craft beer group. We were involved with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tucson, yeah. Anyway,
What was it called?
it was so long ago. I don't remember.
It's like a Girls Point Out
Oh
thing,
no, it was
too?
called Craft Tucson.
Craft Tucson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Austin.
Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah and Austin and a lot of people were involved in that.
Yeah,
And that's
they
how
had
we.
been going before we came in, so I don't know when it started. But yeah.
Cool.
But that's when we first told people we were opening Tap and Bottle was with that group. And
Did you have that location already sorted out, or?
we wanted to open, you know, we like went on a San Diego trip and like pretty much were like, we're going to make this happen. Came back from that trip fueled by lots of IPAs. And we were like, no, let's look for a location. And then if we find a good location that we can afford, then we'll go for it. And then we found that location pretty quickly.
I mean, we had that
Yeah.
location for like a year before we opened.
took us a year, yeah.
And if we would try to do it now, the city probably would not allow us to open.
The city of Tucson.
Why?
You're kidding me. You're kidding me. They treat you so well.
Oh, God.
They build new streets for you. They,
Yeah.
Just the
So-
I-10.
Yeah.
Just the I-10. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is definitely some, it's a very old building.
Old building,
Yeah.
bathrooms, not ideal for code, and
Allegedly.
I mean,
Can you bring that camera in just a little bit for?
yeah. I mean, there are 2 bathrooms, but the way, you know, zoning and works, when you have a shared bathroom with other businesses,
Right.
it doesn't count in
So
your
they
number of bathrooms.
Did
so
count a shared bathroom for us to make it through code.
Right.
Yeah.
But our
and then there was the
yeah.
whole like, oh, the back's retail, so the front's only a bar for parking. And like it only holds 49 people, so you don't need a second bathroom. Like there's a
Right.
lot of like
Yeah.
rigmarole to make it
They
squeeze
they
through.
shave some of the sharp edges off.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
great. That's
It's,
great.
it's kind of Freudian how cities are involved in bathrooms, isn't it? I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like okay, so like, I guess presumably you drink more, you pee more, but like, why?
I mean, we're
Yeah.
kind of worried to try to add a patio to the front because we're scared it's going to open up the bathroom can of worms again.
right.
Yeah.
You know, like
There's
You know?
lots of things that got
Yeah.
through that if
It seems like that's
Yeah.
if you're running a business where there's not enough bathrooms, like the market kind of fixes that. I don't.
Yeah,
I,
they
like,
don't come in.
they're like,
yeah.
I don't want to go there
Or-
because I can
or
never
they-
go.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is a
no one wants
thing
to
you've
go to a
heard.
place that doesn't have enough bathrooms.
right. Or
If
it's
you're
just-
a restaurant and you have 50 or fewer, you only need 1 bathroom.
I
If you're a bar, if you have a liquor license and you have 50 or fewer, you have to have
have
2.
two.
Even
Okay.
though it's the same number of people.
Yeah.
right. Right.
Is that Maricopa?
No, that's well.
Or is that
Yeah.
just the building code?
Yeah.
Those are. I think those are
Those are-
county standards, or they're state standards that are interpreted by the
Adopted,
counties.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
So we're part of the same class. Class of 2013.
You don't want to talk about bathrooms anymore? I mean, they're part of the supply chain.
We can go back to bathrooms.
No,
that's
no,
fine.
no, no.
I think the first time I met Rob was at Strong Beer, probably of 2014.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Was it when we had the baby with us?
It's
Or no, it was
before
the
baby.
year before. Okay.
Before baby. We were probably 9 months in. We opened in June, and that
Yeah.
was in February. 8 months in.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the time I said I'd be our DD and then clearly could not do it and we had to get hotel rooms.
I was the one not supposed to drive, and I was the one taking care of somebody.
Yeah.
It happens. So the building is, as we talked about, is very characterful.
Yes.
Right?
Tap and bottle. OG is very full of
So
all the things.
it has a it's made a mark on your other locations a little bit. I mean, there are things elements that you bring over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially at North.
Yeah, North looks like a supersized Tap and Bottle, but it was in it's in a strip mall that used to be a computer repair
Computer
place.
Renaissance.
Yes. It's very fancy. Anyway, yeah, so we were like, we know we can't replicate the brick, we can't replicate like a really old building, but we can have the elements of like what make it Tap and Bottle. And like the people from downtown will go to North and be like, oh, here
This
I
is
am.
wild. It's the
yeah,
same
it's just
thing.
like the
And then,
layout and
I mean,
similar
it's kind of
things.
accidental as well. Like, we didn't like the way the cooler looked with its galvanized metal, so let's do something to it.
Wrap it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy that we kind of had helping us do a little finishing projects and such, he went to the steel place and he called me. He's like, okay, the choices are black, yellow, or red. And I'm like, I don't know, red. So we bought it all, cut it all up, skinned it. So when we were building north, I'm like, well, we have to have the red cooler. So we used red tile. And that kind of is the signifying thing. When you walk in, it's, the back to the right is the big red cooler.
Yeah.
So some things I've noticed over the last 10 years is, in particular, recently, Andrew pointed out, you guys are getting a little bit more music focused a little bit. I see a lot more posters for...
At downtown, I mean, we've always done Thursday night music.
Yeah.
And just like where it's located, it's close to a lot of other venues. So we've always had live music there. Yeah, I do feel like a little bit more now we're going off of the only Thursday nights and doing some like Fridays, Saturdays. But a lot of our customers are musicians as well. And I just feel like it's they support us.
So the clientele is sort of
And our
slowly...
manager.
Yeah, and our manager's
We have
doing
a
more
manager
booking.
that
Right.
kind of came on board right after COVID, and he has friends that are musicians and is interested in it, and asked if he could book bands on other nights or
Right.
help book with our booker. So,
So we've been expanding that. So
Yeah, I've been
cool.
there, and it's always at a manageable level so that you can still enjoy what you're doing.
yeah.
hopefully.
So, no, I mean, maybe every once in a
There's
while
some
not.
bands that are a little loud.
When you bring the mariachi band in, there's no toning that down.
No.
It's-
That's fine.
How was last night?
Last
The
night was
two-piece mariachi
the
band.
two-piece band. We didn't go, but the notes from our managers, they're lovely. And the Johnny, who's in the band, is a customer. And so he was like, we have to bring them back. They're really good.
And then the story of the mariachi, how it became a thing.
Oh, what, a tap and bottle? The mariachi
So on
thing?
opening
Oh.
night downtown, June 21st, 2013. Didn't know what we were doing, crazy busy, beers foaming on certain lines.
We don't know how to use our
care.
POS
The
system,
POS is
you know.
slow and clunky, and
Tale as old as time.
Yes.
an 8-piece mariachi walks down the street, walks in, and does like a 4-song set right in the middle of
Just
it, unannounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or unannounced to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became a thing at all our anniversaries, even at the North location. We book that same band or that group.
Or a rendition of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they come
Awesome.
in. Yeah.
I love that you've kept the tradition. In Phoenix, I lived in an area where it was new development in a ranch area. So horses at liquor drive-thrus were a thing. To celebrate birthdays and birth announcements and all that stuff, all of a sudden, just in the middle of the night, you just hear like
Love it.
horns.
Yeah.
And you're like, it sounds like it's right next, right outside the window, but it's not. It's like down the street, and then because we were near a mountain, you could hear it because the way the sound works at night.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was with my dad. I'm like, we're gonna go find that mariachi. I wanted to because it was exciting, but
Good times.
sometimes you never find them.
Yeah.
No.
So
All of a sudden it disappears.
yeah, it's very. Maybe it's like a legendary ghost thing or something. I don't know. We've had mariachis at a couple of our festivals, but just not on the regular. We've had the Cactus Brass guys. They do the frontline stuff.
Nice.
Of course, the bagpipes, but I don't know. So the other thing is you sort of were among a handful of craft beer bars that put on a chalkboard or a grease board when you clean the lines.
That's
Right now, I know who, but tell us about who has been working on that or.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Scott handle it because this is one of his passion projects, but
Yeah.
obviously something that's very important to us. And one of our original, when we were opening, people need to know when draft lines are cleaned and, being friends with a lot of the brewers in town and their dedication to it is when Dragoon was cleaning their own lines, Pueblo Vita cleaning their own lines. It's
Yeah.
always been important to us. But
It's
Scott,
one of our missions. We've all had a beer that doesn't taste quite right, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
And we built our draft system to be short, so we could clean and not waste beer. And I did it for 4 years,
Yeah.
maybe. I feel like I haven't done it in a long time. I mean, I'll fill in for vacations. I still remember how. but yeah, I cleaned them every 2 weeks, acid every quarter. We ripped vinyl out every 3 years, and then when we built Westbound, we switched to the hard kind of micro polished plastic lines, and they worked. We liked them. I mean, they're a little cumbersome to move kegs around sometimes, but we liked how well the data shows less micro buildup in between cleanings.
And you want to talk about who you've handed the torch
Oh, yeah,
to?
I'll get there.
Okay.
So we switched those plastic lines. We let them go for a couple years there. They held up. We liked how the beer tasted. And we switched our downtown location, and we rotate more at downtown. So it was really interesting to like, and we usually go style to style with beers, but it was fun to like, hey, there was a fruited sour on this line. Let's throw a lager on it and pull a couple pints through without cleaning and see how it compares to vinyl. And it was really fun when we first did that because the flavor transference was 80% less than if you just did that with a vinyl line. So we switched north, you know, maybe instead of ripping out and replacing with vinyl, the next cycle we put the plastic lines in there. And I've handed off cleaning to Ken, who's very active in the beer community in Tucson, Ken Roberts, and he's been doing it every 2 weeks, acid every quarter, does other maintenance stuff and cocktail batching and keg cleaning for us on that front, and solves issues with washers and faucets and couplers and all that. So we kind of tag team it together.
Draft tech?
He is our personal draft tech. We have our own on-site draft tech.
Yep.
And he does
other people's as
clean
well.
other lines off and on. I don't know what he's doing right now, but we kind of had an idea of forming a business to clean other people's draft lines, but we quickly realized that people don't want to pay money that makes it worth anybody's while to go do it. So we'll go do it if someone asks. Maybe it's a one-off or they're having problems with the line.
And then Ken also has like a side business where he does some consulting, especially for like newer businesses or people that are having issues with
a lot of coffee shops that have been adding draft, so he'll go help them because they're not familiar with it. So
So Ken Roberts, there's
Ken
our
Roberts.
plug. Yay!
How long does it take to do the lines at North?
Maybe like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. If you're hustling, maybe 2. We do half. So we have the daisy chain pump, so we can do up to like 10 to 12 at a time. So we'll do half, and then the other half. We have cocktails on draft. We'll do those quarterly, like on the wine cycle, basically. They seem to be fine.
Yep.
So yeah.
So you've always had to-go beers.
Yes.
Yes.
Where did that idea come from? Is that a San Diego thing, or is that a Papago thing?
Yeah, it was like San
Pay and
Diego.
Take.
Yeah, Pay and Take, San Diego, and then also
What's the place in San Diego? Bottlecraft?
yeah.
Bottlecraft was doing basically a bottle shop that you could drink the bottles at. They didn't have draft at the time. It was in their early days.
Yeah.
And we liked that. Like you could go and hang out and have a beer. You could take beer home. But then we determined, like draft, we need to have draft handles too. So we did it.
There's a new place in Flagstaff Liquor, and they have drink on premise, but they don't have draft. So it's
Still going
So
back.
it's all
old school.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if that was a conscious thing or if they didn't. If that's phase 2 draft, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of weird. Like it's you have the right license. What's going on
Yeah, you
here?
can do it all. but-
Space issue or...
I don't know. Yeah. But
I mean, we're working on a 4th location, and we're probably just going to do cans. It's going to be a wine-focused spot, but we want to have beer.
right.
And I'm like, well, we could do a back bar with 6 barrels, but the margin on 6 barrels versus cans are pretty similar. And then you don't have to clean the lines. You don't have a back bar cooler. You can utilize it for something else.
And it's a really small
There's space
location,
issues at this
so.
place.
Right.
So we're probably going to run all Arizona 16-ounce cans for our beer to go and to drink in. So.
16s, yeah. So I've seen a lot of back and forth people adding 12s again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's for
Supermarket placement?
supermarkets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We like the 16.
Yeah, Dragoon. Even they just released a new beer that's only in 12 ounces.
Yeah.
Florecita.
Orsita, yeah.
Phoenix Beer Co. Same thing. They
Yeah.
just did a new one. But they also just released Monsoon in 16s. There's always 16s.
Yeah.
I don't know. I drank
Yeah.
one
And
of
then you have
them.
the 19.2s.
Yeah.
Those
Those are
for
convenience
sports
store-
and convenience stores
yeah.
and sporting events.
they just like you to move your shelves around and.
I mean, I like how the math on the pints add up because
Yeah.
it's a 4-pack. It's the same as a 64-ounce growler. Like, remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
22-ounce bombers.
yeah. So I like the math. It was like I like how it, but sometimes a 12-ouncer feels like you're being healthy when you drink that instead of a pint at home. Like, oh, I'm only having a baby beer. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Let me tell you about 7-ounce beers. I mean, before Corona was doing it, their Coronitas, that was a thing for a while.
Yeah.
7-ounce.
But then, like, I
Many
use
Millers.
I mental excuse it to have a third 12-ouncer, and I'm like, well, now I've drank more ounces than my 2 pints. So like,
But I really like, like going back to draft beer, at Tap and Bottle, and even at Westbound, we do like a half pour, but having the ability to order different sizes, because I love the 10-ounce pour.
Oh, you're
I'm
talking
just
right
like,
to me, sister.
Give me 10-ounce pour.
which was another thing when we opened, and we
Right.
some other places were doing. I'm like, hey, and with the price differentiation of kegs being, $150 for a half barrel up to like $400 for a 5-gallon keg, like you have to have different pour sizes.
Every once in a while, and I know I can sort of size up that bartender's ability to do things on their own. Like there's some places that aren't, and they're not able to accommodate. I'm just like, all right, well, just charge me for a pint. Just pour. I'll tell you when to stop pouring. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. Like I don't want that extra beer.
The other one is when they're pouring and then they get some foam and then they want to scrape it off and do more. I'm like, no, just stop.
They're just pouring it right down the drain.
I'm done.
Oh no, I want to fill it up for you. No. We're
Those
good.
are friends of mine, and beer down the drain is just as much a depletion as beer in my gut. But you should really stop pouring now and let it just sit. And if you want to do me a solid and
Top it later
slash me
or not, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I always remind people it's a drip tray, not a drain.
Yeah. Drip. Yeah.
Maybe that should be our tagline for the podcast. It's a drip train, not a drain.
A drain something, money goes down.
The people who listen to our podcast, all 7 of them, they know that we've been talking. We've been talking about the struggle that we're seeing out in the marketplace, and we talk about national trends, we talk about things that are here, and I think to some degree, some of our brewing community is buffered from the too high highs and the too low lows. I guess it's the refrain, oh, I wish we were more like so-and-so other place. And like, well, we're not. And also we don't have all the nonsense that they have. But what are you guys seeing out you've made changes. You can talk about what things post-pandemic have made more sense. Be it NAs or you started adding other products. You went from more of a beer bar to having other types of things. The music, to me, it's all about hospitality. So talk about those changes you've made and the things you're seeing from people, suppliers that are bringing things to you. What's your whole picture on this?
Yeah, obviously, I think pandemic gave everyone a time to think about what's next. If we make it through this, what's going to be next? And we, started to see declines and especially at downtown and our numbers. And it was like, we really need to diversify and be not just a beer bar, we need to be a bar. And so we worked on getting our 6th license at North and at downtown. Our 3rd location, Westbound, already had one.
A 6 would add spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Beer, wine, and spirits.
Yep, beer, wine, and spirits. So we were like, we need to be the place now that's for everybody, where it was more destination-y before, and now it could be a happy hour spot for the person that wants a margarita or, all the things. So that was the biggest change for us, was really getting those 6s in and bringing our cocktail program from Westbound, which for us really is still aligned with like the model of the name Tap and Bottle, because we batch our cocktails into a keg and serve it on tap. So we're like, cool, it's still Tap and Bottle with cocktails. Yeah.
I think we've treated wine and spirits kind of similar to beer. You're not going to walk in and see what you see at Safeway or at Total.
Yeah.
It's a curated selection. It's thought out, hopefully.
It's event driven.
Which leads to, it's it's ambiance and hospitality, and that's part of it, your product selection. So I think COVID, definitely you're right. Tucson, maybe even more than Phoenix, is insulated from the highs and the lows. So, but we've seen the dip in beer, especially at downtown. And I don't know if it's a beer trend that affected that location or if it's road construction with COVID and downtown being weird after COVID. Like COVID changed downtown, and it might have been changing going into that. We just didn't really realize it. But coming out, you definitely saw not just us, but like you talk to other bars and restaurants and businesses, and they're like, it's totally different.
Well, it's like less businesses downtown, people being able to work from home.
Right.
So there was less of the, people going into the office every day and wanting a beer after work, So it changed downtown.
I want you to talk about the things that you've seen from breweries, but before I get to that, you mentioned a couple of things that I wanted to follow up on. I know that you run in our circle, like as the guild. I know that you guys have a relationship with breweries, but I was wondering if you've sort of connected with anybody with a number 6 license, but more old school. Do you guys have any relationships with your classic dive bars? Do you trade notes with them?
Yeah.
Because there's a complete difference, in my opinion, of how you have the same license, but your clientele is different. The way you do business is different. Do you guys network on that level, and what kinds of things do you talk about?
One of our best friends owns Shays, which is right down the street and our favorite bar away from our bars.
Right across the street from Bacher.
Yep, right across from Bacher. And, very different bars, but we have a lot of the same clientele that go back and forth. And we talked to Jill a lot about, more just like operations, and especially during COVID of like, oh my God, what are we going to do about this? Or like
road construction,
or
street fair.
my window got knocked out by a rock. Can you guys come help us board it up? Like sort of operational, not really as much on like, let's talk about like spirits and running a bar and that kind of stuff. But we do, we have like a lot of friends that have bars that focus on like craft cocktails, like El Crisol is a mezcal focused bar. They're good friends of ours. And so just sort of like products, a lot of times people who have a bar and aren't selling to go, will send people to our locations like, oh, you like this cocktail and you want this spirit, you can get it over at Westbound or you can get it at downtown.
I always kind of thought about like what was Tap and Bottle, like how would you classify it? Like we're not a dive bar,
but we're not like a cocktail bar.
Club.
Yeah.
Like we're not Applebee's.
That's
what is it like? I always kind of described it as a modern dive bar. A new version, and I don't know if that's correct or not, or if it makes any sense.
Some people are going to hate you for that, so it's a very
modern neighborhood bar.
But we don't put a tagline.
But you draw from
a new
version
of a bar, like that's not. It's a little cleaner. It's a little more family friendly, but it's not a nightclub. It's not like
we're not shaking and stirring, making really fancy cocktails. It's pretty straightforward. Our prices are really good. But then we have some really nice wine and spirits and beer in the bottle shop if you want to take something home.
My point, I guess, is you're influenced by how you grew, and like if you just started out with a 6.
It would have been totally different.
It would be completely different.
It'd be totally different. And also we were very intimidated not intimidated, but just like we were very passionate about beer. And so that's what drove us to open. And then as we aged, or we just got into new things, like we got really into wine, and that's what we were enjoying on the weekends. Arizona wine
so much better, and more of it, and more availability. Like, oh my gosh, like they were making good stuff, and now it's affordable and competitive.
And so we were really jazzed about that, and like elevating our wine program. And then as
Whiskey Del Bach opens, and they're like, oh, like this is a thing. Like you can do it a different way.
And then when we started Westbound and did the draft cocktail program, and with our team over there, it was like, okay, this isn't it didn't like scare me or intimidate me anymore. It's like we can do these at the taps and we can do it our way. We don't have to have like Tito's or whatever.
Or
else.
like a mixologist that has to train every bartender on every drink, and then that person quits and you have to retrain everybody.
Yeah.
Where it's if you can put the right amount of ice in the glass, you can make a drink at our place. And it takes no much more than to pour beer.
Yeah.
So we didn't want people to wait. Like that was a big thing when we would go to like fancier cocktail bars. You'd wait and wait.
Oh, in 15, 20 minutes, easy.
And then you'd drink it in 5. So we didn't want that, and it definitely would not work in our spaces. You don't want to wait for that pint of beer behind a cocktail, and like we did not want to put our customers in that position.
Sure.
Or our bartenders.
So it evolved in a.
So you're telling me after 10
way.
years you're having a hard time putting a label on yourself?
Yes.
Huh. You got
I guess
any
so.
ideas on that?
Not modern dive
So,
bar.
so like we're
Tap and bottle.
I have strong feelings about it because I come from Wisconsin, and
Yeah.
dive bars to me, like if they improve the bathroom in any way, they're no longer a dive bar.
Yes.
Like, it's just like
No, we're not.
if you're not
I like a clean bathroom.
if you're not throwing ice in your urinal, then you're not a dive bar.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're not.
We're not a modern day.
But that's not to take away from the many wonderful neighborhood bars that are, so I people in Arizona tend to think that anything that's a neighborhood bar is a dive bar. I'm like, it's not really.
Yeah.
And they're talking, sometimes they identify places like that, like bring in millions of dollars in,
There's someone in Phoenix that opened like a new place, right? And it's
Oh, we are opening places all the time.
But they're
Phoenix.
like trying to make it look like a dive bar, like from day one.
There's a couple places, concepts like that.
Yeah, I've heard about them.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's kind of like unfortunately, kind of like the Irish pub you go to that has all the stuff. It's literally a pub in a shipping container.
To a man named Mel McNally and his business, the Irish Pub Company of Dublin, Ireland. The Irish Pub Company finds people who want to start pubs around the world and offers to sell them a whole package of Irish magic. From the distressed vinyl floors to a patterned ceiling, everything they sell has a story, and everything is produced in Ireland.
And they'll send it to you in a giant shipping container.
Yeah.
The Irish government had funding as part of their tourism program, like literally to package up things to put in bars. It's not to say it's like Rulabula was one of them for sure.
Yeah.
What was the one when it was here? Alt Dubliner?
I mean,
Yeah. That's like here it is.
I mean, you go in there and like, this is
it.
This is pretty good. This is what it is. And like, if you're just pouring Guinness and serving shots of JMO and doing some Irish food, it's not. I mean, I don't know.
There it is. Yeah.
You're friends with Matt. He's not that, but he has all those things. I mean, all the elements.
It's great.
I went to school in St. Louis, Missouri, and of course Budweiser is everywhere, but they have Bud bars. So Bud bars just come in. They would take over old dive bars or neighborhood bars that were closing, and they would just say Bud outside. There's no name. It's just called a Bud bar, and then they'd put all their own beer in there, and then you're like, oh, let's meet at the corner at the Bud bar.
So somebody's willingly being a Tide House.
There you go. Yeah.
I guess.
How's that get through the 3-tier system?
I have no idea. But
No
it was
idea.
Budweiser.
If you're a Budweiser and you're in St. Louis, everything is
Everything is
in the fire
yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we had a good vibe on this. I don't want to change subjects, but I don't want to forget, like, what have you been seeing in terms of the products, the breweries that you're seeing, the mix, whether they're from regional, distributor-driven, personality-driven, like what's changed in terms of what you're seeing people coming in to sell to you?
I mean,
No more bombers.
Yeah, no more bombers,
Yeah.
obviously. COVID did change a lot because I feel like we got an influx of breweries that we didn't get before because people were packaging and, they couldn't have their breweries open. But we're really, at least for what is outside of the state, everything is driven by if they are working with, a distributor, have a contract, or have a 2M, if that's what it's called. And so it sort of feels like a little wild, we're like, I don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah, and we don't know, there'll be breweries offered. I've never heard of this, and they're from South Carolina.
And then you have to do a deep dive
you're like,
and
why?
read the reviews. And
I mean,
Yeah.
and the logistics are pretty good. They can get stuff here in a timely, fresh manner. But it's just you don't know them. You don't know their vibe. Are they a lager house? Are they a hop forward place? What's
And
their
Right.
strength? And
you don't know the ones that are going to stick, right? There's some
Right.
you're like, ta-da, here's a new brewery. And of course, that first case sells out
Right.
that you get. And then after that, you bring it back and then it just sits there. There's some that do stick, It's like
the untapped ADD beer consumer that wants
Yeah.
so many check-ins by the end of the year, definitely is driving a lot of that.
Still, to this day.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And there's a few breweries that continue to do well.
And
I'd say
so-
16-ounce cans.
Yeah.
Everybody's in a 16-ounce can. The price points on
Are
these
crazy.
beers, that's the biggest.
Yeah.
We're seeing, we're in the same markup as we were, we might have gone up a little bit. Basically the same markup as 10 years ago. And we're seeing 16-ounce cans $8 to $9 for one can to go on a retail markup.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah.
A 4-pack is $28.
I
Yeah.
mean,
The affordable luxury, right?
Yeah.
That was what things were marketed as
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago.
but I think
So it's interesting. And you still have those 12-ounce, bigger craft breweries that are still, you can get a 6-pack for $12. And now you have a 4, I don't know, it's crazy.
Forgive me for not knowing this, even though I've been in your place many times, and I do drink wine. But do you sell by the bottle too, or just by the glass?
we do both.
You do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
What's a one that kind of flies off the shelf
For wine?
Yeah, for both by the glass and
so
bottle.
for by the glass, we do draft wine primarily. We did add in where we can do by the glass pours of bottles, and those change. Currently, the by the glass, we're really trying to focus on some Arizona wine. So one that I think just crushes in our bottle shop a lot, and now we pour, I think at North by the glass, is that Callahan, the Buena Suerte, the red. I mean, that one's awesome. People are really excited about Arizona wine,
Yeah.
so those
Yeah.
are that Dos Cabezas Rosé is Scott's favorite, but it also sells really well. We have it in the can, we have bottles of it. But yeah, it's interesting to see the trends that are happening with that too.
Okay, I'm trying to get Andrew to buy a condo down here
Yes.
so that we can take day trips down to Sonoya.
Yes, do it.
We'll see.
Yeah. No, and I mean, people are getting, more and more familiar with Arizona wine because
Yeah.
they do, especially in Tucson, that trip to Patagonia in
Oh, yeah.
Sonoyta
It's
is
45
so
minutes.
easy.
Right.
I mean, we've done it on a Monday.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
we go and eat pizza at Dos Cabezas and drink some wine and then
Yeah.
cruise back.
And still pick up the kid from school.
Yeah.
I just had to go down to Nogales to because my global travel thing expired, and for some reason they needed me to get an interview before they'd reissue it, and I was traveling. So I drove down to Nogales, and then I ended up taking 2 meetings. One on the way there, I had to take a phone call, and then one on the way back, and I stopped at Abe's Old Timacacri.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is a cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only craft beer they sell is Pueblo Vita.
Yes, they do. I saw that they have that. I don't know what the connection is, but that's awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I texted the team over there, and I think Landon was like, "That's one of my favorite places."
Yeah.
I love
So,
it. Yeah. Well, and that's I remember in early Dragoon days.
Yeah.
They would be you'd go to a dive bar,
Yeah.
or you go to Danny's, and they'd have the only craft was Dragoon because they like to go there.
It's a little weird that on the one hand, it's kind of cool that you come down here and sometimes the IPA of choice is different than it is in Phoenix.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of frustrating. Is all these IPAs are good, and it
Yeah.
really shouldn't have to
Yeah.
be that kind of a thing. But
So who has the most IPA tap handles in Phoenix? If you just
I don't know.
went across
Most
the city.
recognized right now and on fire is church music.
Church
Yeah,
music,
church- yeah.
Tower Station is everywhere.
Tower Station. I'm
Dragoon
assuming Tower
IPAs
Station
everywhere.
rules in Flag. Dragoon kind of rules down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then church music. I mean, it's in Trader Joe's now.
It's
I love that they have
every
the shop
single
there.
place in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good
So
beer.
it's getting the right mix of grocery store for those brands, right?
Yeah.
Grocery store
Yeah.
and being in a mix from their distributor, but all those started, very small.
Yeah.
Now, you guys don't do brewery tap handles. You have your own tap handles.
Yep.
I think one of the big parts of church music success is that tap handle is like.
I don't even know what it
I
looks
don't even
like.
know what it looks like.
It's a wild 80s neon theme, zigzags,
got
and
zigzags
stuff.
and stripes.
Super recognizable.
Oh yeah, like the little picture on the can. But
It's not. It's just a graphic design thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't. I'm not necessarily. It's not like art on a wall, but it's
It
pops.
pops.
I just we're coming to CBC, and we'll walk the trade show floor, and we'll go by people who are selling tap handles, and all the brewers are looking at them up close. I'm like, the test is
10 feet away.
if you can recognize it. It doesn't have to be anything, and that's why I think you were bringing it up, because the Dragoon tap handle is the little low boy one.
Yeah.
The little, gear shifter handle
Yeah.
kind of thing, and I think that makes it distinctive. So it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so if I go to a place and I see a little shorty but I can't read it, I'm like, oh, what Dragoon do you have on
Right.
tap?
Yeah, pretty much.
I know they have have one.
Like a
Which
time market.
one is it?
A
You
time
know?
market yesterday.
She wanted to appeal to the visually impaired or otherwise impaired.
What is that? What's that black hole on number 4?
Yeah, and then when we first opened with just the stainless things and the chalkboard, I think we did get a visit from the liquor license control.
We
And
did.
They had some
Yeah.
questions about how we were
How'd we know
presenting
what it
those
was?
to the customer.
It was illegal.
Well,
for
you're still
a bit.
you're supposed to. Are you
Well,
still supposed to
we-
have the brewery name?
The brewery name is supposed to be visible 10 feet away.
Siri. Pleased to meet you.
Thanks for noticing.
Wow.
Are you wearing a wire? This is going right to the DLLC.
You talking to Diddy over there?
I don't know.
I think we had numbers on ours, and
Yeah.
they corresponded to our printed menu and our chalkboard. So they were like, okay, they could tie it all together, and they didn't really make us change anything.
Yeah, but we do the names
Yeah.
and everything, and now it's nice because for.
But the funny thing is, you could have all that correct or a tap handle on,
Right.
and if you have the lines crossed in the back, you're
Right.
still not serving the
Yeah.
right beer.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, I've
happens.
gone to a restaurant before and ordered Dragoon IPA, and they serve it to me. I'm like, no, that's
Yeah.
modus operandi.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, well, okay,
No, this
it's your place,
Yeah.
but you might want to go check those lines at some point.
Yeah.
You know, so
How many times can Scott and I mention Dragoon IPA? Just want you to know, we love
you
Dragoon
cut half of
IPA.
them out.
I picked some of those up last night.
Yeah, we picked Sirius from Pueblo Vita up last night.
There you go.
Hey, I don't know how much longer you have. I'd like to take a break and get a beer and
Break
talk
time.
a little bit more
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, we
good.
still need to talk
Yeah.
about smoothie sours.
Okay.
no, let's never
We
come
can,
back.
we can talk NA.
Oh, NA.
We can talk NA.
NA smoothie
Or
sours.
whatever. Smoothie sours.
All right.
This is Aurora, this week's Arizona Beer Frontier AI voiceover. The team ran a bit long in their conversation with Scott and Rebecca Safford of Tap and Bottle. We hope you enjoyed part 1. Please tune into part 2 next week. Arizona Beer Frontier is not a beer podcast, it's a podcast about beer.